Today on CityCast Seattle, I'm here to talk with Ashley and creative producer Sam J. Leeds about a recurring theme in our city: affordability. So, a new piece in the Seattle Times shows that 28,000 people in Washington canceled their healthcare coverage on the Washington Exchange. Insurance costs are just skyrocketing. Like, some people have been seeing premiums quadruple. In the Seattle Times piece, one of these people reported that their premium used to be at $200. It's now going to be $800. And the people who work at the Washington Exchange told the Seattle Times that the number of people who are foregoing insurance will likely only continue to decrease because the number of people who actually enroll in those healthcare plans is not necessarily the same as the people who actually pay their premiums and stay on those plans. Ashley, Sam, have you all had to navigate the exchange? What has your experience been like?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we've all been freelancers at some point, right?
Sure have.
And if you do that, you gotta get your own health insurance, which it's nice that we have that option, but there's a lot of like hoops to jump through, and yeah, it's definitely not affordable. I think mine was $500 a month just for me. And like that was a pretty basic plan. So hearing that it is going up to like 800 or more for people is, God, that's rough.
Yeah, same. I think mine was about $500 in 2025 for most of 2025. And my deductible was like $8,000. So essentially, unless
Jesus.
I was in some catastrophic accident and needed to basically be bankrupted, that health insurance really didn't pay for anything. I was just paying $500 a month for the privilege of hopefully not being bankrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was also in the 500s. And similarly, I mean, I was with Kaiser, so at least the network that I could work from, I already knew what my coverage was, which I think if you're not with Kaiser, if you're with a different plan through the health exchange, it can be really hard to figure out what services are even covered.
Yes.
And then you end up with all these bills outside of the $500 a month. And I like forewent. I don't know what the past tense of forego is, but
I think it's forewent. Yeah.
Yeah. I skipped dental and vision insurance because I was like, what is even the point of paying for this? I'll just pay out of pocket to get my teeth cleaned, not on the schedule that my dentist would prefer.
I will say, if you need an emergency root canal, which has happened to me before, having that dental does end up being worth it, but still, I think if you're getting like a cleaning once a year or twice a year, you can probably pay out of pocket and it about evens out.
Yeah, I feel like my conspiracy theory is that dental insurance in particular is a scam because it maxes out on how much it will cover versus most insurance is like you max out on what you spend and then insurance covers the rest. Dental insurance is the inverse. And so I'm like, what is the point of paying for this?
Truly. Oh, yeah. I feel like I should have had Kaiser maybe because I did Am Better by Coordinated Care or something like that.
That's correct, Ashley. Yes.
Insurance. No one took that insurance.
It did sometimes end up being the better deal. And I guess I should plug, in case people don't know, this is what I tell people all the time. If you are newly self-employed or needing to just get on the exchange because you have lost your job, there are actually insurance brokers who are paid by companies to sell you those plans to help you navigate the exchange. And you can just make an appointment with them if you've had a qualifying life event and you suddenly need to get on the exchange. And they will like help you pick a plan and like do a lot of the paperwork and annoying like form filling out for you. It sounds almost too good to be true, but it's actually a great service, and I'm really grateful that exists. It's definitely helped me before. Although I've heard from a friend who does this that now some of the insurance companies are not necessarily like paying the brokers for the plans. It's a mess out there. But if you're a consumer looking to get on the exchange and you are finding it overwhelming to navigate, know that there is free help to you available.
That's rad. I didn't know that when I was doing it.
Yeah, I only heard about it from a fellow freelancer who was like, "Hey, like I know this one guy," and this one guy was like, "Oh, you're like the 15th like science journalist who's called me this week."
Mm.
So, I think it's a maybe little known fun fact about getting on insurance. All right, well, we know that that insurance is a mess. But there is, I think, other factors here in Seattle that will only continue to play into. Well, you know what? I'm gonna start that over. Sorry, that like went in a weird direction. And also, is my internet being weird, you guys?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I think we could talk about how messed up healthcare is all day. But in other affordability news, we have gotten some not great news from Amazon. It seems like more layoffs are on the way. So, you all might remember that back in October, Amazon laid off around 14,000 people. And according to Reuters, they will be laying off about that many this week. If that goes through, that would be the largest layoff in company history, with around 30,000 people let go in the last 4 months. And according to the Seattle Times, the October layoffs included about 2,200 people in Seattle. We also saw some layoffs from Meta last week, around 300 people. Do you all think this is going to have a larger impact on our city and the region?
I mean, definitely. I think
Yeah.
those are the folks that typically are making some of the most money in our city. And whether or not you believe in trickle down economics, they definitely are spending their money in the city. I think, in terms of a lot of the new housing that's being built that is not affordable housing, but is just sort of market price, like those are the folks who are renting those places. And who are spending money at businesses around town. And it just makes me nervous for not just those people, because obviously they have families or, people that they need to support in their lives, including themselves, but also sort of like the knock-on effects of, all of the different ways that one person's misfortune affects a whole community.
Yeah. And if a company like Amazon can't afford to keep people, though I don't know that that's necessarily truly why they're, laying people off, but if they can't make it, then who, like, it just gives me such like a grim outlook on businesses and the economy in Seattle. It's like Amazon has to lay off people. Amazon's like the ones making the most amount of money and having the most impact in our city. And so if they're having to do layoffs, it makes me really, really worried about everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just big business like Amazon. We also saw some stats from a recent survey of 136 small businesses in Seattle and in Washington state that found that things are worse for a lot of these small businesses than it was during the COVID era. Um, the survey was conducted by Intentionalist, which is a Seattle based platform that aims to support small businesses. And in that survey, about 67%, so like two-thirds of the people who filled that out, said that their business is under more financial stress now than during 2020 to 2021. And 73% said that they agree that the challenges today that they're facing are less visible, but severe or worse than during the peak COVID years. I mean, it does just seem like businesses in general right now are kind of feeling the pinch.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine that it could ever be worse than like peak pandemic times when no one could even leave the house. Like it's worse than that. But I guess when you think about inflation, how much more everything costs now, that I'm sure that coming in both directions of like less people buying whatever your small business is selling and then everything costing more, I guess, yeah, that would probably make things even worse.
Yeah, I think the other thing that factors in is that there was government support being provided to small businesses during
True.
the
Mhm.
pandemic,
Yeah.
and all of that money is gone right now. So they're not getting support from, on high, and then they're also not getting foot traffic or people spending their money at those businesses. And it's just such a bummer because, small businesses, at least from my perspective, are kind of part of what makes Seattle a fun city to live in, is like all of,
Absolutely.
you get to see like what is this person's dream that they made happen in their neighborhood. And you get to know people in those places. It's like really, as we're always talking about the lack of third spaces. And I think, you know, even though small businesses often do require you to pay some amount of money to be there, they are sort of the third spaces where you get to meet your neighbors and like gather with folks. And at the same time, I can't blame people because, I was looking at my budget recently and like the cost of groceries just keeps going up. The cost of insurance just keeps going up. My rent is also going up. Like it's just smaller and smaller piece of the pie to actually go out and spend in the city. And so it makes sense that people aren't going out as much.
Yeah, I remember during at least like the early days of like directly following COVID lockdown where you couldn't go anywhere, when things opened up a little bit back in the summer of 2020, people were like, it is a civic duty. Like I am doing like civic good by going out and getting a sweet little treat for myself. And I feel like with, budgets tightening, it's really just, it's not happening as much. There's this quote that was included in the report from the owner of Hood Famous, which I love.
Same.
Shout out Hood Famous. Go buy some delicious stuff at Hood Famous. That says, what small businesses are facing right now isn't a temporary downturn or leftover pandemic effects. It's the accumulated weight of a broken economic system built to extract value rather than sustain it. That hit me hard. I was like, that's a very eloquent way of putting it. It feels like this isn't an issue that I feel like any one person going out and supporting. I mean, clearly that can help, but it feels like it is a systemic issue, not one that individual consumers can fix with their dollars.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, of course, like the small business owners are hoping they'll get more, foot traffic, more business, and that will help. But as people have less and less money, it's so much bigger than all of us. Like we can't all save each other. And so,
passing around the same $20
exactly,
in a GoFundMe.
Totally. It really is a broken economic system. And we can't all fix it together, but I guess we can keep trying. I don't know what like the other solution is here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe the solution is we can all fix it together, but we can't fix it individually.
True. Yeah.
So, I think obviously we're in kind of a tough spot right now with Washington's austerity budget, the fact that there just isn't a lot of extra spending to go around, and the federal government seems to be intent on making sure that we have even less money in the state. But I think choosing a small business that's in your neighborhood that you really want to support, and even just like hosting a neighborhood meetup there or asking them like what kind of support they need. Like we can't fix the whole economic system in Seattle, but I think we can have a little bit more of an impact in our neighborhoods directly, and like looking for ways to do that.
Yeah. The end of this quote from Hood Famous's owner is, this moment calls for a reimagining of an economy that works for workers, neighborhoods, and the businesses rooted in them. I do feel like it's a good time for imagination and reimagining. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll actually shout out some local small businesses that have recently been recognized. This week, the 2026 James Beard Award semifinalists were announced, and Seattle got 14 shout outs. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to know from you, Sam and Ashley, have you all been to any of the places on this list?
Yeah, I've been to Little Beast, Rob Roy. I mean, that's a classic. And Musang. I tried, I think late last year, and absolutely phenomenal. And then places on my to try list that are all the way at the top are definitely Homer and the Wayland Mill.
Okay, I went to Wayland Mill for lunch maybe about a month ago. So good. They were sold out, unfortunately, they have a biscuits and gravy dish, which I know is really popular. But I don't know. I got like 3 different things and like split some stuff with a friend, and everything was incredible. And just like a really cozy space to hang out in.
I've heard so many good things. Yeah.
Really enjoyed myself. Loved the fries. I definitely will be back. I felt like so Wayland Mill got shouted out for the list of best new restaurants. Very exciting for them. And yeah, Ashley, you mentioned Little Beast. I mean, I feel like they've been getting so much hype and love lately. Like they were named Seattle Mets Restaurant of the Year. They made it onto, I can't remember which dish it was from Little Beast, made it onto the New York Times Best Dishes of 2025.
Oh yeah, I think it was their little meat pie that they do.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about
There
you,
must just
Sam?
be something about that place that's super unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meat. People love their meat.
People
The
do love meat. Yeah, Musang haven't been in a long time. I think the last time I went was honestly pre-pandemic, but the food is delicious and it has that really nice like neighborhood vibe where you're just like, yeah, I'm kind of in somebody's house.
It's literally in an old house. I went with a
Mhm.
bunch of friends. I have a bunch of friends who do this like fancy dinner club once a month where we go and we essentially order everything on the menu. So I think we literally did order every single thing off of the Musang menu. And I can
yeah.
confidently say that every single thing was a banger. Like so good.
It's so good.
Delicious, yeah. And then can confirm Homer should definitely be on your list, Ashley.
Mhm.
The wait is always insane. They don't take reservations. And I've been a couple of times. The last time I went with my family. My family is like notorious for getting hangry at each other if we don't eat right away.
That's always good.
Yeah, and so
That's what
then
you
that
want.
combined with the wait was really not an ideal combo, but the sort of consensus after the meal was it was worth it. And if you don't feel like waiting, they do have a soft serve window that is incredible. And they do have, for those of you like me who can't handle lactose, they do have dairy-free soft serve that is also delicious. So highly recommend that. And then the other one that I personally love and have shouted out, I think, on the podcast and in the newsletter like many times is Cafe Suleiman. Their chef, Ahmed Suleiman, got the Emerging Chef nomination.
Wow.
It's like everything there on the menu is incredible. Would highly recommend doing your whole menu order, Jane. But specifically, they have this olive oil cake that has a whole like whipped cream on top, and then a like fruit infused oil that goes over it. That is just like I think about it on a regular basis. It's so good. And that's another place that is like, you know, small. You're basically sitting in the kitchen. And it just has that sort of warm, homey feeling. They play vinyl records, and if it's your birthday, they'll let you choose what record to play.
That's
so
cute.
yeah, it's just a very, very sweet space. Highly
love
recommend
that.
going.
That's great. All right. Well, we should just add the rest of these restaurants to our list and report back. Listeners, if you all have been and you have nice things to say, drop us a line. Let us know what I should order at each of these places.
Mhm.
Okay. In other food news, new apple just dropped.
Yeah.
It's not actually dropping until 2030. Washington State University, if you don't already know, has basically like the top apple breeding program in the US and has come out with banger after banger. Like if you've had like Cosmic Crisp, that was a WSU project. They essentially have bred apples to be super tasty and heartier when you are trying to transport them across the country. So this new one that they are developing is called Sunflare, which is a great name. Although
Great
honestly, my favorite still remains the Ludacrisp.
That's a real apple?
It's a real apple. I shout out to Collins
Yes.
Family Orchards where I get my farm boxes from in the fall. They're always full of delicious apples and pears. The benefits of the Sunflare that WSU is trying to develop is that it's ready for harvest earlier than other apples and that it's somewhat disease resistant. And that it's just hardier in long-term storage. So yeah, if you've got that apple drawer in your refrigerator, you're like hoping to just hoard your little apples all winter long, like
a
I
squirrel.
do. Then who knows? Come 2030, maybe the Sunflare will be your go-to fridge apple.
Are we putting apples in the fridge? I leave mine on the counter. Should I
I
change
love
this?
a cold apple.
I do both. Like if I'm going to eat it within the week, I keep it on the counter. But if I want them to stick around for longer, I will throw them in the bottom drawer.
The idea of a cold apple sounds nice. I don't know why I haven't given myself that little luxury treat. I don't know.
There you go.
A nice
It's
crisp cold apple, a little
Yeah.
peanut butter. You're good to go.
Keeps the doctor
Delish.
away if you don't have health care to be going to.
Hey.
Really just
There
trying to
you
tie it all
go.
together, you guys. All right. Okay. In other food news, I know our executive producer, Ashley Smith, has this burning question about whether butterhorns are actually from Seattle. So I don't actually know much about butterhorns. Can you describe to us what they are, Ashley?
Absolutely. It's an adorable little pastry, kind of like a long flat crescent roll, but with a little bit of a glaze on it. Or I guess even like a long flat cinnamon roll, but without the cinnamon.
Mm.
It's delightful.
Is
They're
it
very good.
flaky like a croissant? Like, is it?
I don't think it's that flaky.
Okay.
Sam, have you tried it? They have them at Bake Shop.
Yeah, the ones at Bake Shop are pretty good. Yeah, they're definitely a little denser than a croissant. It's more in the sort of
Is
like
it biscuity?
biscuity scone.
Okay.
Yeah, like sort of in
Yeah.
that family, but like rolled. And usually it has, at least I think the ones at Bake Shop have kind of like a cardamom flavor going on, with like a nice like sugar glaze over the top. But Ashley, you saw a sign recently, right? That said that they were created in Seattle, or they're like a Seattle specific pastry.
Yeah, I was at Cafe Ladro and they sell butterhorns and they have like a little sign above it that says a Seattle original. And I have tried them before. I've seen them at a bunch of coffee shops. I have never heard of them as being like from Seattle, if that's what that little sign means. And so I tried to ask the internet and do some Googling and figure that out. Daniel on Blue Sky replied to me and said, shooting from the hip here, but I bet these are a European import that became a Seattle original because it was made by A.W. Piper, Seattle's first prominent baker in the 1870s.
What?
And that person was trained in Bavaria.
Wow.
Which, that sounds right. I believe Daniel. But then Googling, I found that like McGavin's Bakery in Bremerton was known for them. Holly B's on Lopez Island was known for them. Shoemakers in Ravenna was also known for them. So I don't know. Maybe this is a Seattle thing. I would love more info if anybody actually does know about the butterhorn.
I gotta say, Daniel, that sounds like a lot to just be shooting from the hip. It's like very
Right.
specific.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, I could definitely see that being imported over and then becoming kind of like a signature Seattle thing. Because I have not, as my questions probably already showed you, I've not had one. I've never seen one, never clocked it as being a common pastry. So perhaps it's just more common here.
And now you won't be able to not see it. The next time you're at a coffee shop, you'll be like, oh, butterhorns. They are technically, I guess, like a Midwestern Mennonite tradition. Like that was maybe how they came to be. So that there's nothing Seattle about that. But yeah, maybe they're just popularized here. If anyone knows for sure, please get in touch.
I will say they are really good to dip in coffee. Like it's like the perfect length, where it like fits nicely in a coffee cup. You're not going to make the pastry soggy because it is thin. Like I feel like, it does pair well with something that, we're known for. So it makes sense if it was adopted here.
Yeah. And speaking of coffee, I actually have some very specific coffee questions too. So if there's any like baristas or roasters listening, get in touch with us as well, please. Seattle at citycast.fm or send us a DM on social or something.
Well, let's leave it there for now. That's all we have today at CityCast Seattle. Sam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jane. Excited to uncover more about this butterhorn mystery.
Yeah, Ashley, thank you for bringing us this little mystery.
Anytime. Love a mystery.
I'm your host, Jane C. Who, and listeners, for real, like, please let us know if you know anything about butterhorns, if you happen to be a barista or a roaster that can answer Ashley's questions about coffee. You can also just send us your news tips, your questions. I don't know, your favorite restaurants in town that you think we should go check out and what we should order there. You can send us an email at seattle@citycast.fm. You can also text us or leave us a voicemail on the CityCast hotline at 206-880-3931. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at CityCast Seattle. You can DM us. You can also watch full episodes of CityCast Seattle on YouTube now. Just search CityCast Seattle. If you're enjoying the podcast, follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. Leave us a little review. It's super helpful. And just tell your friends about us. You can also get more local news and events delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to seattle.citycast.fm. Until tomorrow, see ya, Seattle.